What's up, Virgo? Welcome or welcome back to the channel. Did you miss me? Because I missed you. Let's take a deep breath together. Inhale and exhale. Thank you. And thank you all so much for your patience with me as I took a little bit of a hiatus and I went on a little bit of a break. That's all in the past now. Prepare to be sick of me because I'm back and better than ever, and I'm so excited to be reading for you all again and tapping into the energies and delivering these readings. Please do hit the like button for me to circulate this video out since I've been gone for a while so that all of our Virgo family can find their reading from me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already. If you'd like a personal reading with me, they are available. Information's in the description box down below. And this reading may not resonate with you. Please only take what feels right and leave the rest for someone else. With all that being said, let's dive into it. So I have a bunch of channel messages for you that I've been collecting over the past few days, few weeks. It feels like I went through a period of kind of closing off my spiritual gifts and closing off the messages. And now that I'm back and trying to read for everybody regularly, it's like a floodgate has opened and all of the messages and downloads that were on the backlog are just flooding in. Some of you might be able to relate to that too. We're finally out of the Mercury retrograde gunk and the Mercury retrograde period. The shadow period's over. Mercury is direct. We're done with that, but we do have more astrological transits coming up, as we always do. But it just feels like that Mercury retrograde time period kind of backed us up and it kind of put everything on pause and shut off certain things from our life. And now that Mercury is direct again, it's like there's a backlog and the downloads are starting to flow again, at least for me, maybe for some of you too. But the title of this reading is The End of Punishment. Your sentence has been served. And I think it's really interesting that that's the message that I got. And the bottom of the deck for you is the Devil card. And it feels like some of you have been battling demons or purifying your spirit and cleansing out negative energies from people, places, things, or mindsets. You're finally done with it. This reading marks the end of your sentence. Your sentence has been served. Your punishment is over, okay? Some of you might have been punishing yourselves. And that's why it feels like the universe has been punishing you too, because you're bringing it upon yourself because of your own self-punishment and because some of you are so critical of yourselves and so hard on yourselves. And I relate to that too, but Spirit is saying that you can stop punishing yourself now. You can stop judging yourself so harshly now, all right? The dog days are over. This reading marks the end of suffering for you. So if you're seeing this reading and you've been experiencing some sort of suffering or test from the universe or feeling like you're punished for something, this marks the end of it. This reading is the end of your suffering. Congratulations, you've ascended. Survival mode is over. Thriving mode is activated. You've ascended. Okay, I'm happy to see it. I wrote down that some of you have been punishing yourselves, so now it's time to stop, or this is your reading that's letting you know, like, hey, you don't have to punish yourself anymore. You can be done with that. You've served your sentence, right? Even if it was a self-sentence, you've served the sentence. I also wrote down they can't, and therefore they won't break your soul. So that song, They Won't Break My Soul by Beyonce could be significant. Maybe you want to go have a listen to it. But I think that that's also interesting because we are seeing the Devil card here. So some of you may have been experiencing some people trying to like tear you down, or some energies around you trying to like drag you down or get you to repeat some sort of past cycle. There could just be some sort of devil, narcissistic, negative energy that has been plaguing this collective, and Spirit is saying they can't and therefore they won't break your soul. Absolutely. It feels like the only reason that these dark energies have been around you is because you do have a soul and because they are soulless, so they're trying to take souls. But they can't take your soul and they won't take your soul. They can't and therefore they won't break your soul. I also wrote down prepare to be sick of me, which I already mentioned in the beginning of this session, but this isn't just about me. It feels like this new season that Virgo is stepping into is titled Prepare to be Sick of Me, because now Virgo has more clarity, now Virgo has more confidence, Virgo has gotten the rest, taken the break that Virgo has needed. If you haven't, this is your sign to allow yourself to take a break, allow yourself to rest, allow yourself to kind of like step back, pull back, because this new version of you that's coming out or that will come out is the version of you that people are going to have to prepare to be sick of, because you have a lot to say. You have a lot of gifts and talents to share with the world. You have a lot of wisdom and knowledge to share with the world. It feels like it's finally Virgo 2.0. It's time for Virgo 2.0. It's time for this new version of you, and other people can prepare to be sick of you. Absolutely. Continue to show up. They can either enjoy it and learn from you and enjoy being in your presence, or they can get to step in and they can go somewhere else and find someone else or find something else, right? If you're too much for them, they can go find less. Absolutely. I love this new Virgo that's coming through. It feels authentic. This version of you feels authentic and confident, and you know your worth, and it also feels exciting. There's this new energy of excitement, which we're going to talk about in a second, because I was getting that some of you have been bored recently, and Spirit is saying that that boredom is going to come to an end. Your guides know that you need some sort of excitement, you need that spark and that electricity, so they're going to be bringing that in for you. Life is going to get to be fun again. You're going to start having fun in life again. The boredom is coming to an end. I also wrote down strike while the iron is hot. Oh my God, I didn't even say happy birthday. Where have I been? I'm so sorry, Virgo. Happy birthday. If you are celebrating now, if you still have a birthday to come, or if you've already celebrated, happy birthday. May this be your best year yet. My birthday was on September 8th. Thank you all for your happy birthdays. Thank you all for still being here. I really, really appreciate you. But I need to say my happy birthdays to you and wish you well, because I didn't say that yet. So happy birthday to all of the Virgos who are listening. Strike while the iron is hot. That's a message that was coming through. I also wrote down the present is a gift. The present is a gift. And I really learned this the other day, because I went to a park and I was just walking through, and it wasn't a very big park. It wasn't an extravagant park. It just had some children's playground stuff, and it had a tennis court, and it had a pavilion, and it had some picnic tables, but it wasn't very big. But I walked through it and I just felt this sense of peace and tranquility. And I had this thought come through where I was like, these are the moments that we live for. And I was so grateful to have that experience, because there's been a lot of suicidal ideation in my life since I was young, 10, 11, 12 is when it really started. And then I've gone through battles and phases with it my entire life. I'm sharing this with you because it's okay to be vulnerable. And I'm sure some of you have experienced this too. So I'm just letting you know that you're not alone. But when I'm going through those moments of suicidal ideation, I'm always praying and hoping that the universe will show me the reasons to live. I'm always asking that the reasons to keep going and the reasons to live show up for me when I need them most, especially during those dark periods. You know what I mean? And I feel that me walking through that park and having that feeling of tranquility and having that download of these are the moments that we live for was the answer to that prayer for me. So the present is a gift. And it also made me think about the Nine of Pentacles and the Tarot, which is a Virgo card. And the Nine of Pentacles reminds us to stop and smell the roses, and it reminds us to romanticize the little things in life. And that's what I've been trying to do. So some of you, maybe you've been trying to stop, slow down, smell the roses, enjoy the present moment, romanticize life as much as possible. For some of you, this could be advice for you, right? Stop and smell the roses, romanticize the little things in life. That'll bring a lot of joy and purpose into your life. Okay. I also wrote down that conflict avoided is conflict amplified. Conflict avoided leads to resentment, which can lead to larger confrontation later on, and it can lead to more outbursts later on as well. Conflict avoided can also exacerbate frustration, which can negatively affect your health and can be harmful for your self-worth. So some of you may have been avoiding conflict, or some people may have been avoiding conflict with you. I really feel like now is the time to just rip the Band-Aid off and to confront that conflict that some of you have been avoiding, whether it's internal conflict or external conflict with somebody else. I feel like now is the time for you to be addressing that. And if you aren't the one who needs to confront it, I feel like now is the time for the other part of this equation to be confronting you with this conflict, or confronting you with whatever it is that needs to be healed and taken care of, right? Hopefully that's making sense. It feels like this Pisces full moon, that's also a partial lunar eclipse happening on September 17th and 18th, is going to be bringing forward confrontation surrounding unresolved conflict that people have been trying to avoid. Whether this is you initiating the conversation and communicating this confrontation, or this is happening to you, people are coming to you, or a specific somebody is coming to you to confront some sort of conflict that has been avoided. It feels like this Pisces and full moon is just bringing the truth out of people, which full moons tend to do. Full moons tend to illuminate the truth of who people are, of what situations are, things like that. But this being a partial lunar eclipse and it happening in the sign of Pisces makes me feel like there's this like amplified energy to get this conflict taken care of. It feels like the universe is pushing whoever needs to confront this conflict to do so and to do it now, because it's better that we take care of this now and talk about these things now than to wait or for it to come from somebody else's mouth. And I'm going to give you a specific example, but it doesn't have to resonate. I'm channeling for some people that this conflict that's being avoided is in regards to infidelity and cheating and or not wanting to be in a relationship anymore, but we're avoiding the conflict of talking about the cheating, of talking about not wanting to be in a relationship anymore. We're trying to just kind of like wait things out or work things out without ever talking about it. And Spirit is saying that this full moon energy is bringing it to a head. It's bringing it to the surface. Yeah. Like the truth is being illuminated. So somebody may be having a conversation here about infidelity and cheating that we've been withholding. That information we've been withholding is finally coming out, is what it feels like. And this could be you who's talking about it. It could also be if you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody anymore, but you're having a hard time like ending things or figuring out how to talk about it, and maybe you just want to see if it'll get better. I feel like this full moon energy is asking you to speak up on the truth and to bring the truth out. And if this isn't you talking about these things, this could be somebody bringing this truth to you. If it does have to do with like the infidelity or not wanting to be in a relationship anymore, the other person who is receiving this truth, their intuition has kind of told them that this was going to be the case anyway, because I'm seeing that. I'm seeing the high priestess for the person who's going to be receiving this truth. So if this is you, your intuition was kind of already set off and you've already been kind of thinking or feeling that you have been cheated on or that somebody doesn't want to be in a relationship anymore. And again, it doesn't just have to be infidelity or not wanting to be in a relationship anymore. This truth could be anything, but I'm giving you a specific example. And so if you are on the receiving end of this truth, it feels like your intuition already knew it was coming. And so this truth that's going to be illuminated to you only confirms your intuition. And if you are the one illuminating the truth for somebody else, it's going to confirm their intuition. It feels like whoever's on the receiving end intuitively already sees this conflict coming or this confrontation, truth coming. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully I didn't spend too much time on it, but that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. Conflict avoided is conflict amplified, and it feels like this full moon energy is really bringing the conflict to a head and bringing the truth out 100%. I also wrote down that the relationships we seek are in the conflict we avoid. And that's a thinker. That's food for thought. And then I wrote down that if some of you spent or are spending your birthday alone this year, please know that it's not because you are unloved. It's because your guides, ancestors, and passed on loved ones wanted to celebrate you without any distraction. Without any distraction. They really wanted to just celebrate you without there being other people around taking your focus, taking your distraction. They wanted to be able to celebrate you, and they wanted you to celebrate you too, okay? Let's see, what else did I write here? These channel messages, they're so long. I'm so sorry, but it is what it is. I wrote down that you already had all the answers for the test. So some of you might have been feeling tested by life lately, and Spirit was saying that you already had all the answers for the tests. The only way to challenge you was to not tell you when the tests were going to happen, and to not even tell you that the tests were tests when they showed up because you were over-prepared. Some of you don't even realize how over-prepared you are and how naturally intuitive you are, that when these tests show up, you're just naturally given the cheat codes and you know exactly what to do. And this has been happening to me over the last month and a half. I've been tested in situations where I like already knew the answer when the test showed up, but I didn't know I was going to be tested. I was going into these situations blind and not expecting to be tested in any way, and then the test kind of like slapped me in the face, but it felt like I already knew the answer and I already knew the test was coming intuitively, so it was easy for me to just make the right decision and make the right choice and pass the test, so to speak. Hopefully that's making sense too, but it feels like you've already had the answers for these tests that are coming up or these tests that have happened in life. And so the only way to challenge you was to not tell you, kind of like a pop quiz situation. And so then when the tests come up for you, it's going to be like you already have the cheat codes and the door is already like magically opened for you. You just have to walk through it. And then I wrote down some signs that can help you guys connect to this reading. The number 222, when I started this reading, it was 222, so that number seems significant for some of you. The number 636 and the number 999. I got the name Rebecca and the name Robert, so those names could be significant. I also got the name Dom and Tom. And then Wicca/Wiccan has been coming up for me. I don't practice Wiccan or Wicca, but some of you might be practicing Wiccan, or Wicca/Wiccan is going to be coming up for you in some way. It just kind of is finding me naturally, so I had to write that down. It feels like a sign for some of you. If you're here and that resonates, you're here for a reason. I'm supposed to be reading for you and helping you moving forward. I also channeled the song Dance for You by Beyonce. I wrote down Florida, so the state Florida or anything Florida related could be significant. I wrote down holy water/Florida water as a sign, and then the movie The Deliverance on Netflix, which I highly recommend checking out. It's newer, it just came out recently, it's on Netflix. It is a like horror movie, thriller movie. It's one of those, the kid gets possessed and then we have to try to like exorcise the demon out of the child, but it's different. It has like a twist to it. It's not what you would expect. And it got me back into horror movies, scary movies, because I went through a time period of not liking them anymore, even though growing up, the horror genre was always my favorite. I love psychological thrillers. I love horror movies. I always have. Some of my favorites are the Insidious series. I really loved Insidious 1 and Insidious 2. But I got away from it for a while because I just felt like I wasn't getting spooked or scared by them, and I felt like I was only getting the gory and like the violent, aggressive horror movies, and I don't resonate with that. So I just thought that maybe I had outgrown that specific genre until I got back into it because of The Deliverance. This movie on Netflix got me back into scary movies and the horror genre. So if you're feeling called to check it out, I really do recommend it, and I really do recommend watching it all the way through to the end. It gave me a lot of spiritual power, and it really made me feel like I am safe, loved, and protected, and God's got me always. So you might have a similar revelation or a different revelation or no revelation at all, but I'm going to recommend the movie The Deliverance to you on Netflix. Check it out if you feel called to it. So that is that. Let's pull a card or two. I plan on doing more readings for you, so this one we're not going to pull too many cards. I'm thinking maybe just like 1 or 2 tarot cards and then 1 oracle card, and we'll wrap up. I feel like the channel messages were the most important, and me coming in here saying, hi, I'm back, I'll be reading for you, was more important than like a whole card reading. But angels, ancestors, guides, come through for Virgo. What is the card for Virgo for this reading? Your card is the Page of Pentacles. I'm hearing have that conversation. Call that person, text that person, reach out to that person. Or this could be you. Somebody is reaching out to you to tell you something, to have some sort of important conversation with you. The main message here from the card that's coming out has to do with that conflict avoided energy that we really broke down. It feels like the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg. There's some sort of like breaking point that's happening here, and we can no longer avoid this conflict. For some of you, it feels like somebody has been withholding information and now they're going to tell you the truth. There is some sort of truth being illuminated to this collective, or some of you are going to be the people illuminating a truth for somebody else because we can't keep avoiding this conflict. We talked about how avoiding conflict only amplifies the conflict, and we talked about how it can lead to health issues, and it can lead to you not believing in yourself, and it can lead to larger outbursts in the future. So I feel like now is the best time to rip a band-aid off and to have that conversation with somebody, or somebody is feeling that way about you. And it doesn't have to be what I was talking about with like the infidelity and the not wanting to be in a relationship. This could be somebody who has a really good idea for you that they've been holding on to. This could be somebody who has a job opportunity that they've been holding on to and like trying to avoid bringing it up to you because they don't know if you're going to want it. They don't know if it's going to be embarrassing. Like there could be any reason for them not bringing it up, but it could be that. It could be somebody who is interested in you romantically and wants to like try dating you, wants to start getting to know you, things like that. I'm also seeing that some of you are thinking about going back to school. The Page of Pentacles could be like a student, somebody who is studying something, learning something new. So some of you might be going back to school, or you're going to be learning something new, which I feel like is really good for you. There's something here about you learning about a new industry, you learning about a new career, you learning about a new hobby. Maybe you're going to be learning more about the tarot and astrology. It's different for all of you, but it does feel like there's something new for you to learn about and for you to like sink your teeth into, and that's going to consume you in the best way. And I feel like you're not going to be bored anymore with this Page of Pentacles energy, because whatever this is that's being offered to you or that's coming in for you, it's going to be exciting. It's going to bring that spark and electricity back into your life. And then we're seeing the Judgment card here as well. So some of you have big decisions or big choices to make after this truth is illuminated to you. Some of you may be deciding to end relationships. Some of you may be deciding to go to therapy, go to relationship counseling. Some of you may be choosing to change jobs, change careers. Some of you may be choosing to get into new relationships. Some of you may be choosing to move homes, to move locations. Again, it's going to be different for all of you, but this energy that I'm tapping into feels like an illumination where there was like darkness before, and there was like a cloudy energy before. You couldn't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. You couldn't really see a way out. And this reading is telling me that now you do, or now you will. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And this truth that's being illuminated to you is going to open up doors and open up a new path for you. It's going to be your decision whether you continue down this path or whether you choose something else. But it does feel like some of you have big decisions to make once there's some sort of information brought to you or some sort of opportunity brought to you. Okay, and let's get you a last card here. Last card for collective. I am getting something about a phone call. There could be a phone call coming in here from the person who wants to like confront this conflict. Or for some of you, there's going to be a phone call here that you got the job, or that somebody wants to work with you. So that's really good to see. Congratulations. You've been accepted, you've been hired, or somebody wants to work with you. They might be calling you during this reading or after this reading. I'm just seeing some of you get a phone call with an opportunity, and it has to do with like money, career, finances. So congratulations. Last card for Virgo to wrap up this reading. A time for healing. Yeah, the end of suffering, the end of punishment. You have served your sentence, and now it's time for life to get good for you. Now it's time for some alchemy and some magic and some miracles in Virgo's life. Prepare to be sick of me. That's your mantra, but it's also your guide's mantra. They're saying, prepare to be sick of me. We're going to be very involved in your life. We're going to be giving you signs and synchronicities. We're going to be opening up paths. We're going to be illuminating paths for you. They're going to be around you very strongly for the next couple of months because the veil is beginning to thin since we're moving into October, and we'll have Samhain, Halloween, October 31st. So the veil is already thinning. Some of you might be experiencing more supernatural paranormal activity than usual. You might be seeing spirits or seeing beyond the veil, and I feel like there's only going to be more of that as the next couple of days and next couple of weeks happen. So know that it's a time for healing, and it's a time for things to come into balance in your life, and it's a time for things to get better for Virgo. Absolutely. Life's going to get fun again. This is the end of your suffering, the end of your punishment. And for those of you who have been punishing yourself, you can stop doing that now. I hope that this reading helped you, Virgo. I'm happy to be back. Sending you love always. Take care of yourself. Stay hydrated, and I will see you next time. Peace.